Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a casual planner chat. I'm going to use this time to go through all of the things that caught my eye in Hobonichi's 2025 reveal or release and try to talk myself out of wanting to buy everything and narrow down my short list so that I have a pretty clear idea of what I'm gonna try to pick up on the September 1st release. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, then I invite you to settle in with your journal or planner, a cozy beverage. Tonight I am drinking a ginger peach tea in my new Snoopy mug. I picked this up on a day trip that Mike and I took to Buffalo last weekend. Before I get into this sorting exercise, I wanted to take a quick moment to thank you all so much for participating in the giveaway that Leanne from Leanne Likes and I have been running for the past couple of weeks. We did randomly select our winner, so we took all of the entries in the Google form and we entered the number of entries into a random generator. We generated a number and then we double checked that the winning number and the person that corresponded to it had commented in both of our videos. So that person is Ellie, and I spent a bit of time earlier this week packing up my part of the giveaway, so that should be on its way to you soon. I had so much fun doing this. I'm sure I'm going to do another giveaway before the year is over. And in February, I also participated in NaNoWriMo, where I wrote a letter a day to one subscriber. And I think I'll probably do that again. Maybe I'll do holiday cards in December. I'm not too sure yet. But in any case, either in my videos or on my community tab, those are the two places that I will share more details about future giveaways and or happy mail callouts. So anyway, thank you again. I read all of your comments and I really appreciate you being here. Okay, so Hobonichi release. As soon as things release, I get very excited for the full reveal. Have to fight the urge, fall in love with everything because Hobonichi's marketing is absolutely incredible. Last year, I took a screenshot of everything that interested me and I put it all in an online whiteboard. I used Miro and I had that open for the week leading up to release day, and I played around with the different covers that I wanted and matched them up with the needs or jobs that I had designated them for. So I did something similar this year in Miro, but I thought it would be fun to print out all of the things that caught my eye and try doing a sorting exercise with you today. Also, apologies in advance for the lighting. It is 9:30 at night. I normally try not to film at night because I don't have great lighting, but it has been a bit of a week, so this is the best time for me to sit down and do this activity. So what I did was I went through the release page and I put a heart on everything that caught my eye in terms of designs. Even though I knew there were certain things that I was probably not going to go for, I didn't really want to spend too much time thinking about that. I just wanted to react, get those first impressions out, because what I've learned is usually things that catch my eye that I think are the front runners don't always end up being what I end up ordering. The other thing that I did offline is I also created a mind map to get clear on what jobs I needed to hire some planner books for. So a couple of videos ago, I did a video on my planning system. And while I did very seriously consider Sterling Ink planner tests and Wonderland 222. Ultimately, I have decided for my planning system in 2025 to go for a Hobonichi original. but I will go for the English version, and I will get a weekly supplement. I'm just gonna put all of these out so I can see them all together. And I printed this cover as well. This is the cover that I currently use for my A6 because I plan to reuse this. So I just wanted to have that here to remember the color scheme. And printer's not really the greatest, so I had to improvise a little bit. For Sweet Purple, it printed out looking like pink, so I colored that over. These are in no particular order, so I'm just gonna lay them all out and then we will have a chat. We've got everything. So this is cut off. Down here, I've got a little printout for the original and the weekly supplement. And these are Canadian prices, according to the website. Then I also have a cousin, and I will get to that in a second. So my plan for next year is I'm going to keep my planning system primarily with Hobonichi, because something I didn't mention in my last video when I did the jobs to be done, I didn't actually really talk about price. That is definitely something that I keep in mind. And when I talk about cost, I'm also referring to the cost of shipping. I completely understand why companies charge for shipping. I think it's just a necessary cost of running a business. But the reality is, if I were to get, say, a Hobonichi original, and then I were to get a planner test, and then I were to get a Wonderland 222, then I end up paying for the books and also the shipping. So something that I do prefer is to consolidate as much as possible. And I know Sterling Ink is producing so many different iterations that you could definitely get all of your books from Sterling Ink's offerings. And I was very tempted, but at the end of the day, I really wanted an A6 sized daily planner. And to my knowledge, I don't think that is currently being offered. I do know there's an A6 common planner with blank pages instead of dated daily pages. And I did look into potentially getting a stamp and sitting down in December and predating the entire 2025. I think for now, I would rather get something that's already pre-formatted. And because I also have other needs that Hobonichi's offerings will satisfy, I'm going to do the majority of my planning purchases through Hobonichi again for 2025. So my needs right now are the Hobonichi original for my planning system, and gonna get a cousin for what I'm calling a workbook. So that's gonna include anything related to my businesses or my personal study, and probably also maybe YouTube. So whenever I do research for the more research heavy YouTube videos that I make. And then I am currently using 2 weeks this year. I did buy 3 for 2024, but one of them was kind of a fail. One of the weeks that I'm using very consistently is the health and wellness tracker, and then I also have a weeks that I use for meal planning, and I've been using both of those very consistently throughout the year. However, I'm contemplating potentially consolidating those 2 weeks, and I might just end up getting one Hobonichi weeks for next year for my health and wellness, and then I'm contemplating consolidating my meal planning into my Hobonichi original. I haven't fully decided yet because I do like having a separate book for my meal planning so that my partner can also access the book, and then when he does, he's not also accessing a lot of other stuff that is in my personal planner. But I also think we've now been consistently meal planning for 2 years, and I'm not sure it needs to have the special attention, like the special project separate book for it attention that it has needed in the past, because now it's just ingrained in our schedules and routines, and it's not something that I spend that much time thinking about anymore. Whereas 2 years ago, we were pretty much ordering takeout more nights than we were cooking. And, you know, it's taken 2 years, but now I don't even really consider it like an issue. So I may only get 1 week's, but I might also change my mind because there are so many cute covers. So we're looking to get an original, we're looking to get a cousin, and we're also looking to get 1 or 2 weeks. Now for my cousin, I have this Superior Labor leather cover, and I will be reusing this for the 3rd year in 2025. I'm determined to get this to patina and turn into what I hope will be a really beautiful caramel brown. It's taking longer than I thought it would to patina. I think in terms of this sorting exercise, what I'll do is I'll just talk through what caught my eye and then we will eliminate the obvious ones. I think that is probably going to be the easiest way to do this. So first of all, I completely fell in love with this Hiroko Kubota cover. This is for the Hon, and I wish that this design was made for the weeks. I'm not as much of a fan of the weeks cover by this artist, so I very much considered maybe not getting the paper version and just going straight for the Hon. I know that I prefer the paper covers, and that way I can kind of switch between different A6 covers, whereas this one I know doesn't really fit, and I am really hoping that this design comes out someday in a pencil board or something because it's so nice, and every time I look at it I just want it. So I wanted to include it in here because I guess I wanted to complain a little bit about how much I love this cover, but I'm not going to get it. And I would say the same for this one. This is one of the covers where initially it's the Insoto, I don't know how to pronounce that, the rainbow. My first impression during the previews, it didn't really catch my eye, but this one really grew on me. And also, I wish this was a week's cover, because if these two were week's covers, I would get both of them, and then I would maybe save one of them and redate it for another year. So I'm very sad that these are not offered in the week sizes, but I just wanted to call these out. Out of the entire lineup, I think these two were my favorite. Why don't we just go through the covers, because I don't think I'm going to be getting any covers. Another cover that really caught my eye was Fulon. I don't know, I just really liked how it was mixing patterns, and I've never had a trifold cover before. I thought the fact that they used magnets was really cool because that made me think there would be less bumpiness. I saw in one of the previews you could flip the cover underneath so it wouldn't be flapping on the side when you were writing with it. So I really liked this one, but I don't need it, so I'm gonna put it off to the side. I'd say I like it. I don't know if I love it to the point where I feel like I need to have it. This is a cover from the spring release, and I love this cover so much. I'm still tempted to get it, but I think I'm gonna walk away because it is really cute. But I have a really cute cover, the pandas, and between the pandas and this one, I might have picked this one if I had had those two options in front of me. But I don't dislike the pandas. They make me very happy. I like the primary colors, the neutral background, and the funny faces that they're making. So while I really love this, I'm also going to leave this. But if this is still here by next fall, don't be surprised if I suddenly get this one, because I do really like it. This one is another really nice neutral cover that caught my eye. I'm not really that interested in zip covers because they've always seemed really bulky to me, but I like the pattern on this one. It's plain, but I like the colors, the browns, and I think it's really classy. And this is something that I wouldn't ever get sick of. And I guess another benefit is because it's a zip, I would be more comfortable traveling with a more expensive pen. Although I really like this, I don't need it. This was another cover that grew on me. My first impression of this cover was I didn't like it. And then, I don't know, I kept seeing it and I read the description about it, how it's supposed to be ferry boats, and there's these white areas are supposed to represent sun rays. And I just find this so calming and so pretty, but do I like it more than the covers that I currently have? And I would have to say no. So because of that, I'm going to leave that behind. Caramel pudding was another very interesting option. It's very affordable, so this is the kind of cover that I would be very comfortable to take with me when I'm traveling with my planner. And the cover on cover this year with the floating dog heads was so cute. I was actually very seriously considering getting this and the floating dog cover on cover. But do I like this more than my pandas? No. And do I like it more than my other fabric cover? No. So I'm going to leave that. The final thing is the most expensive and I absolutely do not need, but it is the Mina Perhonen Piece A6. And I actually liked the spring 2023 A6 and I did put my name in for the lottery, but I did not win the lottery. So when I saw that this year they were going to be opening up these piece covers for regular sale, I'm very tempted. I don't expect that I'll actually be able to get this because I'm assuming it's going to be really difficult, but I'm going to be honest, I'm very tempted to see if I can try to get this cover. I'm going to leave it in my consideration. So now we have narrowed things down. I think I've eliminated all of the A6 covers except for the most expensive one. Again, I don't need a cover for the cousin. So now we just need to narrow down the weeks. Last year, I could not narrow things down and I ended up with 3 weeks because I just could not decide between them. And that was a mistake. I've talked about it before. I tried to create a purpose for the third week and then I kind of forced something for the third one and it just didn't work. So I'll start off with this one because I don't think I can even get this one. Out of all the week's covers, this one is my favorite because it's so bright and cheerful, and I think as a health and wellness weeks, this would make me so happy to look at every day. I wish I could get this cover, but I don't think you can. So I'm gonna put it out of the consideration set. And then I have a bunch of the plain colored ones. And the first one I'm gonna eliminate is this mustard. I thought maybe mustard could be a good option because I thought this might look really nice with the clear cover for the weeks, because I do really like the floating dog heads. And if I'm not gonna be getting an A6 cover, I thought maybe this would be nice. However, this mustard I realized is a smooth cover, and if I am going to get a solid color, I think I want to go for the standard color series because I got a pink weeks in this cover style and I like the texture of it. It almost feels like a linen, so I don't really want to get a smooth cover, so I'm gonna say that's out. The other one that I think I'm going to eliminate is the Paddington. When I saw this reveal, my reaction at the time was, okay, I found my weeks. This is the weeks I'm going to get. I love Paddington. But when I ask myself how I'm going to feel for an entire year, I don't think this is the one. So I'm going to put it aside. Another one that really caught my eye was this pistachio. I had to color it in with a marker. And the other interesting thing is this comes in the mega. With my health and wellness, that weeks has gone so well. It would be nice to have more pages so that I could add more detail. So for example, I log all of the movies and the TV shows that we watch throughout the year. And I really like doing that, but I haven't really done any reflecting on it other than just writing down the titles of things that we're watching. So I was thinking with extra pages, it might be really interesting to add like mini reviews or just more thoughts on it, because sometimes just seeing the title isn't as helpful as it might be if I added in how we felt about it or what we thought about it. So I am considering getting a mega, and I really loved this color. I'm just wondering if it's maybe a bit too plain, but I know I could always get the clear cover if I wanted to add something to it, or I could get a pencil board which we haven't talked about yet, but I could get a pencil board and use that as a cover instead. So I would say the pistachio is a really strong contender just because I loved the color, at least I think I do from seeing it on screen. My hesitation, and I know this is kind of silly, is it doesn't really match this cover, and I don't know why I'm even feeling like I need to match my covers to my weeks, because I don't really use them together. This is kind of like an everyday planner, and then this will probably be housed in my traveler's notebook like I have been doing this year. I don't know why, but that's a consideration. And trying to find something that matched is actually what led me to choosing this in Soto weeks. I think it's a really interesting weeks, and I honestly, when I saw these two together, I thought these would look so nice together as a set, but I'm not really a pastel person. And in the Hobonichi video, they mentioned that they were pastel colors, and I know pastel colors are really nice, but I also know that I get sick of pastel colors really easily. So I'm not sure if I would use this for an entire year and get sick of it, but I'm struggling to eliminate this because it looks so nice with my A6, and when things match, that also can be very motivating to see them together and, you know, to want to use them together. This was the first weeks that caught my eye when they did the full reveal, was this snake toy, because it's hard to see obviously in this photo, but there's one snake that has a top hat, or a silk hat I think they called it, and a little pipe, and that just made me laugh so hard when I saw it that it kind of reminded me of the feeling that I had when I saw the Love It Panda cover. It was just so cute, and it really evoked joy in me when I saw it. Plus, I've never had a bow and tie anything before from Hobonichi, so this would be interesting. My hesitation is from the website. I thought it was light sage green, but from the description and the video, they say that it's gray. I don't know that I would be happy using a gray weeks for an entire year. I'm gonna put it here. The red I had in the consideration set because when I think about my weekly supplement being this very saturated green, I thought this pop of red might actually be very interesting as a contrast. So I'm still thinking about like overall systems. I was just thinking this could be like very interesting, but I also think that the plain color doesn't excite me as much as the pistachio did. So if I were to go for a plain cover, I think I would pick the pistachio even though it doesn't match this system. And same with the sweet purple. I really loved the sweet purple. It doesn't look as good here because I've used a marker, but in my mirror board, it looks really nice contrasting with this. So we kind of have these light colors, these sort of silvery light colors, and then a pop of green and a pop of purple. I thought that looked really nice, but I felt like I was trying to make this week's work for the system as opposed to just picking each component individually, even if they didn't make sense or even if they didn't necessarily match. So for that reason, I think these two are out, which leaves me with 4 weeks. And I'm trying to get down to 1. I guess my dilemma now is if I were to get a week's mega, out of these 4, I think this is the only option for me. So that's one thing. This one I really like, but I don't know if I love it. Liberty Fabrics. I think I would have had to have seen this in person to really make the call. Generally, I like a fabric cover, and I really like florals, and I really like strawberries. So, and I like yellow. So this one has all the components for something that I would like, but I'm really struggling with this one. I really wish I could see it in person because I'm kind of picky with my florals. So I think I'm gonna leave it. And this one has been really growing on me. This Yumi Kitagishi beautiful wallpaper. I have a feeling this is going to be a very popular cover because Yumi Kitagishi's stuff was so popular last year that the only thing that I could get from the release was the deco rush and the folders. I love wallpaper. I'm a huge wallpaper fan. And there's a lot of whimsy. I think this is a contender. I think this one is going to be more interesting throughout the year for me. And I think this one is probably the other weeks that I would get because I really love green. And in case this sells out, I would be pretty happy with this one. I just think I think this is my shortlist for now. This one's still a maybe. It's so expensive and I don't expect I'm going to be able to get it anyway. So I think this is what I'm going to go for. If I can, I'm interested in picking up maybe some pencil boards. So this pencil board, the week size, I really like. And I really like all the Paddington ones. I don't think I'm actually going to get any of them, but I really like all of them. I love the colors. I think if the cover had been one of these with the different colors, I adore all of these pencil boards. So that's what I'm thinking. This is a maybe, this pencil board. I think it's beautiful. I don't think I'm actually going to get this. I think this is what I'm probably going to do. So pencil boards, I already have this, so I'm not actually buying it. So I think I'm going to get a cousin. I'm going to get an original. And then I'm going to try to get this Yumi Kitagishi and then possibly the pistachio. That's where I'm at right now. And these ones are still kind of on the sidelines. I still have a few days. I wouldn't be surprised if I switch this around, change my mind. But I think this is kind of what I'm thinking for now. If you did something like this, I would love to know what your thoughts are on the 2025 Hobonichi release. What are you eyeing? What are you thinking about? I do have some thoughts on what I think I might pick up in the sterling ink drop. I'm thinking about getting some blank notebooks, but I'm gonna wait and see how much they all are because I don't think Catherine has posted the prices for her things yet. And I'm also contemplating a traveler's notebook sized common planner for memory keeping. That one's a little bit of a project. I don't know for sure, but it's been something that I've been contemplating. Well, if you're still here, thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope you didn't mind the slightly chaotic planner Hobonichi chat. And let me know in the comments down below what you are currently thinking for 2025 and if Hobonichi is or is not a part of that. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here and I will see you soon in the next video. Bye!